Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 25th of January 2024. Who can believe that we are almost at the end of January already? January has been for me a very fast moving January, if you want to put it like that. When I was working, I used to think that January was such a long month. But this year, January has sped by. Well, at the beginning of January, we had two birthdays. Two of our grandsons had birthdays at the beginning of January. Bob had his birthday towards the end of January. My sister had her birthday around the same time. So it has been a busy time for birthdays this year. But also, in the middle of all this, as probably most of you will know, our Minister Barbara Ann retired. So that took up a little bit of planning, and so that took up a lot of time as well. And the weather, well, the weather has been so unpredictable, hasn't it? We've had all kinds of weather. We've had rain, we've had frost, we've had ice, we've had snow. I particularly like when it snows because my garden looks the same as everyone else's garden. We've had high winds. We've had just every kind of weather. But here we are almost at the end of January. But we can't leave January without talking about our national bard, Robert Burns. Now, I have a few facts about Robert Burns that you may not know. So I'm just quickly going to go over some of these facts. I know there are a lot of Burns enthusiasts out there who will know everything that I'm going to tell you. But anyway, let's go. Well, Robert Burns was originally called Burness. His family changed the name to Burns after Robert's father died in 1784. He often signed his name with Robert or Rob, but I have read he never ever signed his name as Rabbi. So people who call him Rabbi Burns, keep calling him Rabbi Burns, but according to my information, he never actually called himself Rabbi. Excuse me. He actually wrote his first poem when he was only 15, and it was a song called "Oh, Once I Loved a Bonny Lass" to impress a girl called Nellie. Now, he died aged just 37 from rheumatic fever on July 1796. But in his short life, he composed a catalogue of over 716 works, and they were composed in Scots, Standard English, and Scots dialect. And these works have been enjoyed and shared around for over 200 years. But most people think about Robert Burns and his poems, but he was also a lyricist. And he wrote more than 100 songs published in a book called The Melodies of Scotland. And his most famous song is Auld Lang Syne, now traditionally sung by Scots on Burns Night and at the stroke of midnight on New Year's Eve. Well, but did you know that he almost left for Jamaica? He was almost bound for the Caribbean island, but he decided not to go when his poetry collection, poems, chiefly in the Scottish dialect, also known as the Kilmarnock volume, became very successful. So instead he moved to Edinburgh and published the second edition of this poetry book. Now, but Robert Burns was alive during the French Revolution, which lasted from the 5th of May 1789 to the 9th of November 1799. He was in favour of reform, the abolishment of the constitutional monarchy, and the establishment of the Declaration of Human Rights. Also, did you know that Robert Burns became the first person to appear on a commemorative Coca-Cola bottle in 2009? So, to Burns Nights. The first Burns supper was when 9 of Burns's friends got together after his death to mark the 5th anniversary of his death and to celebrate his life. Taking place at Burns Cottage in Alloway, the first Burns supper involved a speech in honour of the great poet, now known as the Immortal Memory. And today, Burns suppers are held on the Bard's birthday, today, the 25th of January. Do you know there are more statues and monuments dedicated to Robert Burns than almost any other non-religious figure? In fact, the only 2 other non-religious figures who have more than him are Queen Victoria and Christopher Columbus. There are over 50 statues and memorials of Robert Burns worldwide, with some of them as far away as New Zealand, Canada and the United States. In Scotland alone, there are around 20 official Burns memorials across the country, and you'll find them from Ayrshire, Burns' birthplace, to Dumfries, where you'll find his final resting place in the Burns Mausoleum in St Michael's Churchyard, Dumfries. Well, with all that success, Burns died with only £1 to his name. And you find that strange because his life and work is a global phenomenon with immeasurable value. In 2010, a book of his poetry was carried into space by astronaut Nicholas Patrick. The book travelled over 9 million kilometres and made 217 orbits of the Earth. In 2009, the same time as he was on the Coca-Cola bottle, Burns was crowned the greatest Scot by viewers of Scottish TV, then STV. He beat other Scottish legends including Sir Alexander Fleming, Robert the Bruce and William Wallace. If you want to see Burns' collection, the biggest collection of Robert Burns' work is in Glasgow. If you visit the Mitchell Library in Glasgow, and there you'll find hundreds of his poems and songs translated into more than 30 languages. So I'm going to end this little Burns chat with 2 lines or verses that I particularly like. Now, the following poem, or at least the piece of the poem that I'm going to give you, it explores the importance of self-awareness, the concept of social justice and equality, and our human duty to understand the importance of all life, however insignificant it might seem. And this poem is from To a Louse, and I'm sure you'll all know that somebody was sitting watching a louse on this lady's hat. And so it goes. Oh, would some power the gift to gie us, to see ourselves as others see us. It would fae money a blunder free us, and foolish notion. And the second piece I'm going to give you is from To a Mouse, and we know that that was when the fields were being ploughed up. And it goes, the best laid schemes o' mice and men gang aft agley, and leave us naught but grief and pain for promised joy. Now, if any of you are going to a Burns supper tonight, you might want to have a look at the last verse of Tam O'Shanter. But if you do go, have a good time, remember our national poet, Robert Burns. Bye.